Okay, so next, the main question is, how do you actually communicate with customers? So assuming you've been able to get them to come along to your business page on Facebook, now you want to actually take that relationship a bit further. Maybe they want to ask you a question about what sizes of t-shirts are available, or can you get a delivery outside of your postal area? All these kinds of things. Well, let's find out how you can make sure that those business conversations take place still within Facebook without having to go anywhere else outside of Facebook, communicating with customers. And this all happens via Messenger. Messenger is an app that you can use separately, but it's also part of Facebook too. So Messenger is that kind of text messaging, communicating type of service which happens within Facebook, where you can just direct message people anything that you want. 56% of people we surveyed would rather message than call customer service. I tend to be one of those people, not a fan of the telephone at all. I would far rather communicate via text or WhatsApp or something rather than pick up the phone and sit there for hours in the queue. It's not to say they're going to get back to you as quickly, but when you do put a message in with the Facebook actually rates how quickly that business will get back to you. So assuming when you set up in your settings that you say your business hours are, say, between 9 o'clock and 6 o'clock in the evening, then if somebody puts in a message direct through Messenger from your business page and they want to ask a question and it doesn't take more than 5 minutes for you to get back, well, guess what? Facebook is actually ranking businesses based on how quickly do they get back to you. So if you're the type of business that kind of ignores those kinds of messages or barely goes on Facebook or hasn't set up the notifications so that it pings on your mobile phone when you're out and about so you can dive in quickly to answer any kind of query, then you are going to be rated accordingly. So I highly recommend that you make sure that your notifications are set up so that if anybody asks a question about anything that's happening with your business, or they want to ask about a sale or an offer or anything like that, then you make sure your notifications are set up so that it pings on your mobile phone. 20 billion of people are using messages on Messenger each month, and they're being exchanged by people and businesses. Since January the 6th, there was a slight change where people are not using it as much as before because they had issues about thinking about privacy issues and things, but actually those privacy issues have been proven to be unfounded. They are the same privacy issues as you would normally have for any kind of social media activity as well. So here you can see on the right hand side the typical type of conversation that happens between a business and people inquiring in more detail about certain aspects of the business. And then even if you're not available to communicate with them, you can set up what they call instant replies and away messages, so that as soon as they put in that question, there's an automatic response that says hi, and they might say the name as well. Thanks for your message. We're not here at the moment. We'll get back to you soon. Our customer service rep will get back to you shortly. Or whatever kind of phraseology you feel would be useful, because you know what it's like when if you put a message to a company, you kind of expect an answer pretty darn quickly, and you don't necessarily want to be hanging around for an hour to get some kind of response. So having a great customer relationship policy, customer response policy, is going to speak wonders. It's going to speak volumes about the quality of business that you actually operate. And again, it helps with the algorithms, of course. So the way you set it up is you go into the messenger system, then you click on instant reply, and then you fill in your instant reply message or your away message. So the away message can be switched on so that, or automatically kicks in after office hours, for example, or at the weekend, if you're not interested in answering anybody's queries during those times. So here's an example of a success story. We have a company called Plum. They were measuring customer sign-ups with Facebook as a conversion lift. So they had a 3.5 time lift in registrations with ads from the app. They had a 2.4 times lift in registrations with ads from the bot for Messenger. That's the Messenger app. And 15% lower cost per conversion with ads for the app as well. And as well, you can set up your automatic responses so that you're also setting up the automatic questions. So the classic questions that this Amanda Sows gets would be, where are you located? What are your hours? Can you tell me more about your business? What services do you offer? And basically, she has already set up kind of default answers to that. You can set it up automatically, or artificial intelligence will actually go and dive into the information and give some kind of response as well. Okay, so that's just some of the tools that you've got to play with when it comes to Facebook. I bet you didn't know half of them, all right? Okay, let's move on to Facebook groups. And Facebook groups we're going to go into more detail much later, same as Facebook stories too. But this particular section, we're just giving you an overview of all the different kinds of tools you can use inside of Facebook that you wouldn't necessarily know about if you hadn't run a business on Facebook before. So the value of Facebook groups. The idea for Facebook groups is that you are building a community around your product. So if you're somebody who sells cakes, for example, and you just want to be able to sell cakes within a kind of radius of 20 miles of your location, so you can also set up a Facebook group, which is for everybody in your location, in your city, who are mad about cakes, or mad about food deliveries, or mad about local businesses and things like that. And so you can run that group and allow the point about groups is that it's a place where lots and lots of people can add lots of content and put in lots of ideas and have conversations about their passion. So if you as a business try and stifle that communication, stifle those debates, and stifle other people trying to share their businesses and opportunities in there, you are really not running a proper Facebook group. So you have to think about it as a democratic type of place where you're sharing information to people who have the similar type of passion. So you can see all these kinds of groups, like the Edinburgh bring and buy group, buy and sell type of group, or the beautiful shots of Scotland type of group, or women in business types of groups, or the stamp collectors Facebook groups. So they're all groups where people get together with their passions, and then you as a business can get in there and join in to the free Facebook groups too, so that you can share your latest updates and things. So the value of a Facebook group is that you build a community, you provide a safe space for people to connect, and you learn more about what matters to your community. So getting in and networking in the Facebook groups is a great place to understand how your buyer thinks and what are the issues that are holding them back or making them purchase loads from you as well. So it's a great place for understanding the buyer persona a lot better by watching how they interact with each other and with other businesses too. So here's an example of Venue Queen. They've got a business, which is a business page here. You can tell it's a business page because it's got the like on the right hand side of it next to the Venue Queen Limited. So they've set up the business page, which is a like page, and you can see that 258 people have liked that page. They've got the link to the website, and you can see that they typically reply within an hour. So that's them being judged on their customer service essentially. So if you know that if you're going to send a message or a query about something or other, you'll generally get an answer within an hour or less. They will rate you within a couple of minutes as well. So if you can get it down to a couple of minutes, it really does encourage people to send in the message. Because if people can see at a glance that you're the type of company that doesn't reply with it, except for in a couple of days, then it will literally say it there, and therefore why would anybody put in a question? knowing full well that they're not going to get an answer for a couple of days. Nobody wants that kind of life. And then you've got the mobile phone and the description that it's a product type of service. And here it's run by Claire Lee. And Claire Lee says, by joining group discussions using my business page identity, I've been able to raise the profile of my business. So you can join Facebook groups as an individual, and you can also join as a business page too. So if you are Jeannie Monroe, you can join the She Means Business Scotland group as Jeannie Monroe, or you could join as Kitten Cakes Limited. That's absolutely fine. In fact, since switching over from my personal profile to my business page in the groups I network with, I have seen members from these groups follow me or send messages to my page inbox. It's great because these interactions can eventually lead them to consider me for future opportunities. All right. So let's talk about driving business results and the all famous call to action buttons. Now, these are the absolute essentials for making sure that your business is working well, with call to action buttons and call to action requests on every single caption you put up there. So you want to be able to drive the customer actions you care about most for your business. So you can have a number of different call to action buttons. Like, for example, here's one for Creative Nails, which says book now. Or you can have Jasper's Boutique, which says shop now. Or you can have the Pizza Time place saying call now. So you can change up all the different variations for your call to action buttons. And in fact, here's all the options that you have at the moment. You can click on the button called Get Directions, Shop Now, Book Now, Message Directly, Learn More, Sign Up, and Message by phone, text. So how do you get a call to action button? Well, it's quite simple. You just click on the location and then it talks you through the process. Step 1, which button do you want to use? Here are your options. Learn more about your business. Shop with you. Download your Apple Play. Then click next. It goes through the whole process. Add the page button. And there it is. Send message all set up for you in the blue. And if you want to change it, again, just click on the little pencil icon and off you go and change it around to Get Directions or something. So click on the pencil, choose whether you want to test the button, get messages, edit button, or delete button. And that's pretty much it. Okay, on to Facebook events. So this is essential if you want to actually make sure that people are turning up to your events and they're going exactly to the right location, especially if those events are online. 700 million people have been using Facebook events every month, and these are stats from 2016 as well. So you can imagine a lot more nowadays. So the Facebook events is literally about telling people about an event that's happening, and it can be a physical event or an online event, equally the same. So you don't necessarily have to go to any external booking type of site and register your event and get people to get their tickets from there. You can literally do it within Facebook, and these can be paid events or free events as well. So as you can see, the basic layout is it shows you what the date is, what the title of the event is, what the location is. And then you as a consumer can decide whether you're interested, whether you're going, whether you're sharing, or a whole bunch of other options within the More tab. And you can see that this is an event set up by Cat Lamb. And there's a whole bunch of other people who might be interested in going along as well. So the Secret Movie Club has had lots of success with using Facebook events. They are growing a community of movie lovers through Facebook events. And now they have a 4 times increase in monthly screenings compared to previous years, because the information is going straight out to people and landing on their Facebook. So they can see that information. They don't have to click anywhere. They don't have to go to a different website or anything. They just indicate whether they're interested or they're going, and then click through if they need to get a ticket as well. 90% of ticket sales result from Facebook and Eventbrite marketing since June 2017. Eventbrite is a different website. And it is a really good one for setting up events as well, if you want to let people know about events. So it can be a good policy to just set up an event on Facebook, as well as setting up an event on Eventbrite, just in case people are on one and not the other. So if it's a free event, Eventbrite doesn't charge you anything, same as Facebook. And if it's a paid event, they'll take a percentage of the ticket, and you can decide whether you want. So they give you all kinds of options for how that works. So you can go through the process. They walk you through it very, very easily. And it's the same principle in Facebook. If you say the tickets are £5, well, Facebook will take a percentage of that. And they will either add it to the cost or deduct it from the ticket price. So you can decide how that operates. And then also 12 hours were saved per week due to reduced administrative workload. And here you can see that the event has been set up and it's looking all kinds of enticing and interesting, and that there are 4,743 people interested in going along to their next screening of the Clockwork Orange 35mm version. All right, so how do you set up events? So it's pretty similar to all the other ones. You go into the left-hand panel of your Facebook page and you look for the events tab in there. Then you click on create event, and then it asks you whether you want to create a private event or a public event. So a private event is going to be an event where you have to vet what type of people you want to invite or allow to come into the group. So if it's women only, or if it's a business related event, you only want businesses, you can review the people based on asking them some questions or checking out their email. Or you can create it as a public event. So you have those kinds of options. There are 3 different options. One is a public event, one is a private event, and then the other one is the secret event. So you can play around with all the different types of options. The secret event is it's not going to be seen by anybody. Only those who've got the link can actually find it. So the event name, you can put it in there. You can put up the photo as well. You can decide what the location is, and that could be online as well. Then you put in the compelling description, select the category, and then create. Simple as. And then if you've created it and decide you want to fix it up a little bit, you can go into edit and just add little bits and pieces and change the times and things. So it's all completely controllable by you. Okay, next little tool is the appointments tool, and we'll come back to that in 1 second.